Aegon is back, and so am I with another review of House of the Dragon. And episode 7 is very good, and more importantly, sets up what should be a very memorable finale. Now, I do not understand at all how Sunfire is now resurrected, but I also don't care at all to poke holes through the logic, because I much rather see Aegon return as a king, reignite the civil war, than live a life of obscurity as a beggar in Essos. And it's almost as if a new piece has been added to the chessboard where Rhaenyra now has another problem she has to deal with. If we move to another piece on the board, let's look at Aemond. And Aemond, the past couple episodes, he's been living at Harrenhal ever since receiving that stab wound. And I have to admit, I thought he was going to be in Harrenhal for at most 2 episodes and then fly on Vhagar, trying to, destroy Rhaenyra, or at least get into some fights. But instead, he's been laying low, wanting apparently to make Harrenhal the new capital of Westeros. So drama instead comes to him in the form of his mother. And Alicent has been sent on the task of essentially sacrificing her own son to receive her freedom. And what's great about this episode is it's a good character study of Alicent, because what I just described would be a impossible task for almost all mothers. But Alicent seems to show no internal struggle or turmoil with this decision. Instead, she's simply trying to find the most subtle and efficient ways of poisoning her son so that she can escape and not be caught in the act. And this obviously twists the knife even deeper into Aemond since he trusts her so much and has this, weird Oedipal complex with her. And Alicent, her future to me is in a haze because if she returns to King's Landing, she's not going to be treated any better than a political prisoner as she was treated before. She, of course, can't return to Aemond. She still thinks Aegon's dead. So I predict her only, recourse is really to go to Tumbleton, where her son is there, Darren, where her brother's there, where her cousin's there, and she can be treated with a level of dignity and respect that she feels she deserves. So that's my prediction for Alicent and her journey in the next episode. And then if we move to Tumbleton, who's sitting there but Darren? And I should really say Ormond, because Ormond is essentially the one challenging Rhaenyra. Every time I say Darren's a claimant to the throne, that's in title only. Ormond's the one calling the shots. And this episode to me really proves that he can play the Game of Thrones. Before, I thought he was just fancying himself as a scholar, trying to flaunt his knowledge, because it's very easy to read the books, but it's not as easy to, of course, apply the lessons. And he does a really good job in terms of Machiavellian tactics and manipulation, where one, he understands Corlys Valerian's weight and worth and how he can use that to turn the tides of battle in his favor. And two, as we see in the finale, he's manipulating and seems to be perfectly persuading Ulf to become a traitor and turn sides and join him to be a dragon rider, which of course would be devastating for Rhaenyra's cause. And I think that this was certainly set up throughout the show with Ulf's terrible treatment. Ulf obviously doesn't have, strong principles. He just wants to drink. He just wants to be merry. And whichever Lord offers him the greatest opportunity of doing so is going to receive his favor. So Ormond has actually, shown himself to be a worthy competitor and somebody to be taken seriously as the season progresses or as the show progresses. And then, last but not least, Rhaenyra. And the theme of this entire episode, ever since Rhaenyra landed in King's Landing, which is very early, I believe, episode 3, it's the whole show, of course, is a civil war between Team Black and Team Green, and Rhaenyra's on Team Black. But this entire season has felt like just constant infighting with Team Black eating itself, adding more troubles to Rhaenyra than she already has on her plate. And it shows that, every episode, her, control and dominion is weakening within her own party. They're destroying themselves. And it really reaches a breaking point where she finds out that her husband, Daemon, has been secretly hiding the identity of Sheep Stealer's rider, Rhaena. So Rhaena, somebody sworn to Rhaenyra's cause, is the person who kills her son. And Daemon, her husband, her most loyal ally, and of course, somebody she really, cares about and keeps and wants by her side, has been hiding this fact the entire time. Not to mention the fact that as Queen of Westeros in King's Landing, the people are rioting. There's no coin. People are going hungry. Everything looks terrible. And in her own court, she cannot keep order. So it's reached a breaking point in this episode. And I'm just sick of it. I'm really rooting now for Team Green because Rhaenyra has had so many opportunities, I think, to rule with an iron fist. And obviously, it's hard to dispense with mercy. And maybe it sounds cruel on my part for saying, Rhaenyra, you have to become heartless. But that's what it takes to rule, in this universe, to sit on the Iron Throne. And Rhaenyra has had the opportunities. She's failed. Plus, Aegon now has this cool comeback underdog story. And personally, I'm rooting for him. So I'm curious to know what you guys think in the comments. Beyond that, that's really all I wanted to talk about in this episode. I cannot wait for the finale. Really excited to see what goes on, the questions it leaves unsolved that we're going to see in the next season, which I believe is the last. So make sure to like and subscribe, keep the popcorn warm, and tune in for my review of the season finale. Thank you.